Welcome to Shakespeare's Othello. Shakespeare's Othello is one of the main four tragedies of, Shakespeare's time. The other three being Romeo and Juliet. I'm just gonna write R.J. Hamlet. I'm just gonna write H. And Macbeth. I'm gonna write M. And so, with these four tragedies in mind, there is a lot of things that we can learn from them as well too. What makes Othello special is not the title character himself. Othello is not pretty much a hero in this play as well too, but because of the guy named Iago. Iago is actually the main character here. He's like the person which we sympathize with. He's the person that we go ahead and look up with. He's the one we experience with a lot as well too. And if this play was actually a book, well, Iago would be the narrator. And Iago kind of is the narrator as well too. There's a lot that we actually learn from Iago. Although he is a white person, he is associated with the devil. And Othello, being a Moor, that basically means he's a black man, and even though he is a black man, he is associated with being the living embodiment of an actual virtuous person. Even though he is a black man, and the first actor playing him was white, Shakespeare went through lots and lots of pains to just go ahead and try to make Othello into something sympathizable with. Othello became one of the generals of Venice, mainly because he worked smarter and worked harder than everyone else around him. And with that, he became one of the top leaders of the entire freaking Venice. And so with all that in mind, we get to see the actual full life of Othello in action. Shakespeare went ahead and ran through all these things, go ahead and make all these interactions between, say, Emilia and Iago, or with Othello and Desdemona. All these great stereotypes as well too. There is a lot that we can actually learn from all this, mainly because we find Othello sympathizable, but we are actually made to sympathize with Iago. Iago is one of the greatest villain roles of all time, according to literature, and in fact, it has tested that through the time and time again. With everything else that we've actually learned in our entire lives, Iago is one of the few people we can sympathize with as well too. Villains are sympathizable mainly because of their actions. And the crazy thing is, Iago is almost an honest no one in the play, but he is honest during his soliloquies. When he talks about his own inner thoughts, he's all like, hey, I'm just gonna do this, I'm gonna do this villainous deed, I'm doing this because of this. And with all that, we learn great masterpieces, we learn great items and objects and things that we would never have known otherwise. Iago is a master deceptionist. In fact, he's one of the best con men in the entire world as well, too. He knows how to play on people's prejudices. He knows how to see people's weaknesses and how to use it to manipulate it against themselves. And with all this in mind, we get a little contemporary of the modern day as well too. Unfortunately, con men going ahead manipulating other people using false information and assumptions as well as prejudices of people, that's still happening today. And what is their reason? For their own little main good, for their own gains. For all this, we learn a lot about Iago, and we learn a lot about the world. Shakespeare went ahead and took pains to all this because he wanted the people to understand why Othello was like this as well too. As being one of the greatest villain roles, Othello himself is actually no hero in this as well too. He literally goes up and straight out murders his wife. And since he goes up and literally straight up murders his wife, it's not justifiable. And how does he justify it? I loved too well. And with all this, we get an actual sense of what Othello is, his personality, and how he works out his life as well, too. In fact, all of his life, we go ahead and learn out things that we probably should not even know. In fact, if kids watch this play, there is probably a high likelihood that they turn into something Othello, especially if they're black kids, mainly because black kids are nowadays watching things as well, too. I'm not racist at all, I just said that's some sort of thing that came into my mind when I first read this play. Thank God that some actors are actually white in this play as well too, but Othello being played by a white man and a teenage boy playing Desdemona, that's not a very good contemporary standpoint view-wise. It's not a very good look. Nowadays, most people that play Othello is now black, and all women play Desdemona. Well, most of them anyway. And from then on, we learn about people's pasts. We learn about how to recognize propaganda. We learn how to not get fooled by conmen. We learn to fact check. We learn to go ahead and use e-verify. Mainly because nowadays it's actually easier to fact check things, to go ahead and figure out things, find things if they're right or not. Because we have the internet. We have actual access to databases that are light speed quick. Light speed? That is so cool. And so freaking fast. That was probably not have been imagined in the past at all. Why read Othello? So we can learn how not to become manipulated by conmen. So that we learn how not to be actual people, how to be actual jerks, and how we realize that people are jerks. Othello is a play that goes ahead and tells about things. And so if you catch a copy of the play or watch a performance, you might go ahead and go on the Othello Express, go to Tragedyville, and maybe not want to go on a bunch of hate bandwagons that when they roll up to a propaganda station. That was a very bad analogy, and I actually kind of plagiarized on that one, but hey, anyways, it's a very good analogy in my opinion, so it works out pretty well. Shakespeare's Othello. We learn about prejudices of life, how we should not let them get in our way, and even learn that maybe it is best to go trust our instincts. Manipulation is a key theme in Othello, and we can learn to manipulate people ourselves, for the better or for the worse. But mainly, we should be careful to realize that we may be the ones manipulated. We may think we are the manipulators. We may just be the manipulated. Get what I'm saying? No? Well then, you probably don't understand me at all in this entire channel. So go read Othello, or go watch the play. Watching the play is way better. And you will learn something about the world as if you've never seen. Also, if you don't have time, read the play. It's way shorter. I hope you guys enjoyed this production of Han, Sean. And so until next time, my folks and my friends and gentlemen, ladies, kids, bye-bye.